Welcome to Heavenly Creations. Today I'm going to show you how to frost a cake. Right here I have a cake that has been crumb coated, and it's 3 layers of cake. 1, 2, 3. It's also been filled. In between we have some filling, and in another video I show you how to fill a cake and crumb coat a cake. And now what I'm going to do is actually frost this cake. This cake has been in the refrigerator for a while so that it's kind of hardened up a little bit, so that I can actually push on it a little. And the biggest thing with frosting a cake is using lots of frosting. And I'm using a homemade buttercream. And in order to get it really smooth, you want to start out with quite a bit of frosting so that you can take as much off as you want in order to make it really smooth. So you start on the sides, and you're just going to go around, and it doesn't need to be even or anything, but you just want to make sure that you get frosting all over all the sides, all the way down to the bottom. So we're just going to keep moving around the cake. And like I said, you will end up wiping a large majority of this off, so don't think that I'm going to kill you with sugar overload here. It's just to get a bunch down so that when you get ready to smooth it out, you have some to actually work with. And right now I'm just simply using a butter knife. To smooth it out, I will use an actual cake spatula, frosting spatula. But for right now, just to get it on the cake, I'm just simply using a butter knife. So you just go around the sides, getting it on there all the way around. And it's kind of fun. I mean, it takes a few minutes to get a bunch of frosting on there, but it's kind of a fun little thing to do. I enjoy decorating cakes. It's just kind of a fun little hobby. And you're gonna get frosting all over everything. That's alright. And again, you just really want a liberal amount. And this is a big cake, so it's gonna take me a few minutes here to actually get the frosting on the whole thing. If you're a big cake fan, I don't know if you make cakes at home or if you generally buy them. They're not that hard to make and decorate on your own. Most people are pretty creative. You can come up with some fun designs to do. So there's all kinds of different things you can do with cakes. Cupcakes. Cupcakes are kind of becoming the new fun thing to do and decorate. And the cool thing about them is that you can kind of make each cupcake its own little design if you want. So we just keep turning it on the last little section here. And then we're going to do the same thing we've done with the sides on the top. The top is a whole lot easier to do because you're not working at an angle. And homemade buttercream is my favorite, but there's lots of different kinds of frosting you can use. I like the buttercream because it kind of firms up the way I want it to. But there's all kinds of cream cheese frostings or all kinds of other frostings you can use. Okay, so I've got my base of frosting on the sides. And I'm just kind of going around adding a little bit kind of up on the edge so that I have lots to play with. You just want lots and lots so that you can make a nice smooth edge going around. And then you can just put a bunch on the top, kind of do the same thing. So I just kind of shoveled it on there. And you won't use all of this, obviously, like I said, but for now, you want it pretty thick so that you can spread lots of it off. And then we're gonna take our spatula here. This is just a cake spatula. This is the larger size. You can get smaller ones if you're doing smaller cakes. That would work well. And you can start with the top, or you can start with the sides. For me, I'm gonna start with the sides right now because I'm just trying to get an edge. So I'm gonna start here and I'm gonna go around, pushing in a bit, but not too much because I don't want to take it all off. And we're trying to hold it straight up and down. And when your spatula kind of gets full, take it and wipe off the excess. So we're going around. And I'll show you. It's not really easy to do this. I am still learning myself, but you go around, and the idea is to kind of push the same amount of pressure on the top of the cake as down at the base of the cake, so that you get an even edge going on. So you just take this spatula, and I've got this on a turntable, so I'm just going to simply set it there, and I'm going to turn the actual table thing itself. And when your spatula gets full of icing, take it and wipe it off. And this isn't going to be perfectly smooth right this second, but we're going to get it as smooth as we can for right now. And you just keep going around until you get it to the smoothness that you want. And I go around the base. We're going to add a section of beads around this cake so the bottom isn't quite as big of a deal. And if it looks like it's kind of catching right here, it kind of looks grainy, sometimes it's helpful if you go the opposite direction with the spatula. Sometimes that will smooth the frosting out a bit. Just keep going around it until you get it to the smoothness that you want it. And then what I do sometimes is let it sit in the refrigerator for a while, get hardened back up, and then I actually take a damp towel to the edge and rub on it, and it will just gently, and it will actually smooth out the edge. So the top, what you want to do is start kind of in the center, and you want this to be a level cake. So look at it from the side and see that you're making it level. So you don't want the center to be way higher than the edges, so you may have to go around it a bit and kind of level it out. So we want frosting all the way to the edge of the cake. So I'm kind of just going from the center out, creating enough on the edge that it's actually going to be level when I'm done with it. And so then you just start it aside, spin your little turntable here, like a lazy Susan. And then the edges are kind of tricky. You can gently go, it's catching here. You can gently go around the edge, just gently, as like that. And then in order to get the edge to look smooth, you start at the edge and pull in. and it will pull the frosting in from the edge, making the edge look smooth. And if there's a spot that doesn't quite look right, you may have to add a little bit more frosting to it and kind of start over with that little spot. And that's okay. It takes time to get a perfectly smooth cake. And again, you want to keep checking that you're not making this terribly unlevel. And come in from the side, from the edge there. And just keep going around until you get it to the smoothness that you think is doable. And then, like I said, I generally take a damp towel, paper towel to it, and that makes it even smoother than at the end. And you just kind of keep going around it. And I'm stacking another cake on this, so I need the center to be pretty well leveled out. So that's as smooth as it's going to get right now. You can certainly get them smoother. I'm just still learning how to do this whole thing. So hopefully this was a helpful video for you. Frosting a cake is fun. It takes some work to kind of get used to how to deal with the frosting and that sort of thing, but hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you enjoy frosting a cake and enjoy eating it as well. And if you found this video to be enjoyable and helpful and want to subscribe to my channel, Mrs. Heavenly Creations, you can subscribe below and also like this video and tell your friends about it, and hopefully they'll have fun doing cake decorating as well. Thanks for the views and the subscriptions.